Escalus,
my lord,
of government, the nature of our people, our cities, institutions, you are as pregnant in as art and practice hath enriched any that we remember. So there is our commission. I say, bid come before us, Angelo. For you must know, we have with a special soul elected him our absence to supply, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it?
If any in Vienna be of worth, it is Lord Angelo.
Look where he comes.
Always obedient to your grace's will, I come to know your pleasure.
Angelo, there is a kind of character in thy life that to the observer doth thy history fully unfold. Hold, therefore, Angelo, in our remove, be thou at full ourself. Mortality and mercy in Vienna live in thy tongue and heart.
Now, good my lord, let there be some more test made of my metal before so noble and so great a figure be stamped upon it.
No more evasion. Our haste from hence is of so quick condition that it prefers itself and leaves unquestioned matters of needful value. We shall write to you how it goes with us, and we do look to know what doth befall you here, so fare you well. To the hopeful execution do I leave you of your commissions.
Yet give me leave, my lord, that we may bring you something on the way.
No, my haste may not admit it, nor need you, on mine honor, have to do with any scruple. Your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or qualify the laws as to your soul seems good. I love the people, but I do not like to stage me to their eyes. Though it do well, I do not relish well their loud applause and aves vehement, nor do I think the man of safe discretion that does so. Once more, fare you well.
The heavens give safety to your purposes.
Lead forth and bring you back in happiness.
I thank you. Fare you well.
I shall desire you, sir, to give me leave to have free speech with you. And it concerns me to look into the bottom of my place, a power I have, but of what strength and nature I am not yet instructed.
Is so with me. Let us withdraw together, and we may soon our satisfaction have touching that point.
I will wait upon your honor.
If the Duke, with the other dukes, come not to composition with the King of Hungary, why then all the dukes fall upon the king.
Heaven grant us its peace, but not the King of Hungary's.
Amen.
Thou concludest Like the sanctimonious pirate that went to sea with 10 commandments, but scraped one out of the table.
Thou shalt not steal.
Aye, that he raised.
Why? 'Twas a commandment to command the captain and all the rest from their functions. They put forth to steal.
Ah, oh, behold, where Madam Mitigation comes. I have purchased as many diseases under her roof as come to.
To what, I pray?
Judge.
Thou always figuring diseases in me, but thou art full of error. I am sound.
So sound as things that are hollow. Thy bones are hollow. Impiety has made a feast of thee.
How now? Which of your hips has the most profound sciatica?
Well, there's one yonder arrested and carried to prison, was worth 5,000 of you all.
Oh, who's that, I pray thee?
Marry, sir, that's Claudio, Signor Claudio.
Claudio to prison? That 'tis not so.
Nay, but I know 'tis so. I saw him arrested, saw him carried away, and which is more, within these 3 days, his head to be chopped off.
Art thou sure of this?
I am too sure of it, and it is for getting Madam Julietta with child.
Oh, believe me, this may be. He promised to meet me 2 hours since, and he is ever precise in promise-keeping. Away, let's go to learn the truth of this.
Thus, what with the war, what with the sweat, what with the gallows, and what with poverty, I am custom shrunk. How now? What's the news with you?
Yonder man is carried to prison.
Well, what has he done?
Woman,
But what's his offense?
roping for trouts in a peculiar river.
What? Is there a maid with child by him?
Oh, but there's a woman with maid by him. You've not heard the proclamation, have you?
What proclamation, man?
All houses in the suburbs of Vienna must be plucked down. They must be plucked down.
Well, here's a change indeed in the Commonwealth. What shall become of me?
Ah, come, fear you not. Good counselors lack no clients. So you change place, you need not change your trade. Courage, there'll always be pity taken of you that have won your eyes almost out in service. You'll be considered.
What's to do here, Thomas Tapester? Let's withdraw.
You're gonna have to speak up, son, if you're talking to me.
I said, why dost thou show me thus to the world? Bear me to prison where I am committed.
I do it not in evil disposition, but from Lord Angelo by special charge.
Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down for offense by weight. The words of heaven, on whom it will, on whom it will not, so. Yet still 'tis just.
Why, how now? Claudio, whence comes this restraint?
What but to speak of would offend again?
What? Is't murder?
No,
Lechery.
call it so.
Away, sir, you must be gone.
One word, good friend. Lucio, a word with you.
100 if they'll do you any good. Is lechery so looked after?
Thus stands it with me. Upon a true contract, I got possession of Julietta's bed. You know the lady, she's fast my wife, save that we do the denunciation lack of outward order. This we came not to, only for propagation of a dower remaining in the coffer of her friends, from whom we thought it meet to hide our love till time had made them for us. But it chances the stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet.
With child, perhaps?
Unhappily even so. And the new deputy now for the Duke, whether the tyranny be in his place or in his eminence that fills it up, I stagger in. But this new governor awakes me all the enrolled penalties which have, like unscoured armor, hung by the wall so long that 19 zodiacs have gone round and none of them been worn, and for a name now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me. 'Tis surely for a name.
I warrant it is. And thy head, stands so tickle on thy shoulders that a milkmaid, if she be in love, may sigh it off. Send after the Duke, and
I
appeal
have done
to
so.
him.
I've done so, but he's not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do me this kind service. This day my sister should the cloister enter, and there receive her approbation. Acquaint her with the danger of my state. Implore her in my voice that she make friends to the strict deputy, for in her youth there's a prone and speechless dialect such as move men.
I pray she may. I'll to her.
I thank you, good friend Lucio.
Within 2 hours.
Come, officer, away.
No, holy father. Throw away that thought. Believe not that the dribbling dart of love can pierce a complete bosom. Why I desire thee to give me secret harbor hath a purpose more grave and wrinkled than the alms and ends of burning youth.
May your grace speak of it?
My holy sir, none better knows than you how I have ever loved the life removed, which is why I'm hiding right now, and held an idle price to haunt assemblies. So I have delivered to Lord Angelo, a man of stricture and firm abstinence, my absolute power and place here in Vienna. And he supposes me traveled to Poland, for so I have stewed it in the common ear, and so it is received. Now, pious sir, you will demand of me why I do this.
Gladly, my lord.
We have strict statutes and most biting laws, the needful bits and curbs to headstrong weeds, which for these 14 years we have let slip, ever like an o'ergrown lion in a cave that goes not out to prey. Now, as fond fathers, having bound up those threatening twigs of birch, only to stick it in their children's sight for terror and not for use, in time the rod more mocked than feared. So our decrees, dead to infliction, to themselves are dead, and liberty plucks justice by the nose. The baby beats the nurse, and quite athwart goes all decorum.
It rested in your grace to unloose this tied up justice when you pleased, and it in you more dreadful would have seemed than in Lord Angelo.
I do fear too dreadful. 'Twas my fault to give the people scope. It would be my tyranny to strike and gall them for what I bid them do. Therefore, indeed, I have on Angelo imposed the office, who may strike home and behold his sway. I will, as 'twere a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore, I prithee, supply me with the habit and instruct me how I may formally in person bear like a true friar. Huh? Ooh. Lord Angelo is precise, stands at guard with envy, scarce confesses that his blood flows. Hence shall we see, if power change purpose, what our seamers be.
And have you nuns no further privileges?
Not these large enough?
Oh, yes, truly. I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint.
Oh, peace be in this place.
Who's that which calls?
Is a man's voice, gentle Isabella. Turn your key and know his business of him. You may, I may not. You are yet unsworn. When you have vowed, you must not speak with men, but in the presence of the prioress. Then, if you speak, you must not show your face. Or if you show your face, you must not speak.
Oh!
He calls again. I pray you answer him.
Peace and prosperity. Who is that calls?
Hail, virgin, if you be. Can you so steed me as to bring me to the sight of Isabella, a novice of this place, and the fair sister to her unhappy brother, Claudio?
Why her unhappy brother? Let me ask, the rather for I now must make you know I am that Isabella and his sister.
Oh, gentle and fair. Your brother kindly greets you. Not to be weary with you, he's in prison.
Well, me? For what?
Your brother and his lover have embraced, and those that feed grow full. Her plenteous womb expresseth his full tilth and husbandry.
Someone with child by him? My cousin Juliet?
Oh, is she your cousin?
Adoptedly, as schoolmates change their names by vain though apt afflection.
She it is.
Let him marry her.
This is the point. Upon his place and full line authority governs Lord Angelo, a man whose blood is very snow broth. He hath picked out an act under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into forfeit, and all hope is gone, unless you have the grace, by your fair prayer, to soften Angelo. And well, that's my pith of business twixt you and your poor brother.
Doth he so seek his life?
The provost hath a warrant for his execution.
Alas, what poor ability is in me to do him good?
Say what power you have.
My power, alas, I doubt.
Our doubts are traitors, and makes us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt.
See what I can do.
But steadily.
I will about it straight, no longer staying but to give the mother notice of my affair. I humbly thank you. Commend me to my brother. Soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success.
We must not make a scarecrow of the law. Setting it up to fear the birds of prey and let it keep one shape till custom make it their perch and not their terror.
Aye, but yet let us be keen and rather cut a little than fall and bruise to death. Let but your honor know that in the working of your own affections, had time cohered with place or place with wishing, whether you had not some time in your life erred in this point, which you now censure him.
'Tis one thing to be tempted, Escalus, another thing to fail. I not deny the jury passing on the prisoner's life may, in the sworn 12, have a thief or two guiltier than him they try. What knows the laws that thieves do pass on thieves? 'Tis very pregnant. The jewel that we find, we stoop and take it, because we see it. But what we do not see, we tread upon and never think of it. You may not so extenuate his offence, for I have had such faults, but rather tell me, when I that censure him do so offend, let mine own judgment pattern out my death. And nothing come in partial, sir, he must die.
Be it as your wisdom will.
Where is the provost?
Here, if it like your honor.
See that Claudio be executed by 9 tomorrow morning. Bring him his confessor, let him be prepared, for that's the utmost of his pilgrimage.
Well, heaven forgive him, and forgive us all. Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fall.
Come, bring them away. If these be good people in a commonweal that do nothing but use their abuses in common houses, I know no law.
And now, sir, what's your name and what's the matter?
If it please your honor, I am the poor Duke's constable, and my name is Elbow. I do lean upon justice, sir, and do bring in here before your good honor 2 notorious benefactors.
Benefactors. Well, what benefactors are they? Are they not malefactors?
No, if it please your honor, I know not well what they are, but precise villains they are, that I am sure of.
What quality are they of?
Oh, he, sir, a tapster, sir, one that serves a bad woman, whose house, sir, as they say, plucked down in the suburbs, and now she professes a hot house, which I think is a very ill house too.
How know you that?
Oh, my wife, sir, whom I detest before heaven and your honor.
How, thy wife?
I, sir, whom I thank heaven is an honest woman.
Dost thou detest her, therefore?
I say, sir, I will detest myself also, as well as she, that this house, it is a naughty house.
How dost thou know that, constable?
Mary, sir, by my wife, who, if she had been a woman cardinally given, might have been accused in fornication, adultery, and all uncleanliness there, but as she spit in his face, so she defied him.
Sir, if it please your honor, this is not so.
Approve it before these varlets here, thou honorable man. Prove it.
So she came in great with child and longing, saving your honor's reverence for stewed prunes, sir. We had but 2 in the house, which is a very distant time stood, as it were, in a fruit dish. This is some 3 pence. Your honors have seen such dishes. They're not china dishes, but very good dishes.
Go to, no matter for the dish, sir.
No, indeed, sir, not of a pin. You are therein in the right, but to the point, as I said, this Mistress Elbow, being, as I say, with child and being great bellied and longing, as I said, for prunes and having but 2 in a dish, as I said, Master Froth here, this very man, having eaten the rest, as I said, and as I say, paying for them very honestly, for as you know, Master Froth, you being then, if you be remembered, cracking the the stones of the foresaid prunes.
Oh, yeah, I did indeed.
Yeah, well, very well then.
Come, you are a tedious fool. To the purpose, what was done to Elbow's wife?
Oh, so Your Honor cannot come to that yet.
No, sir?
No, sir, but you shall come to it by Your Honor's leave. He, sir, sitting, as I say, in a lower chair. So, where indeed you have a delight to sit, have you not?
Yeah, I have so, because it is an open room and good for winter.
This will last out a night in Russia. I'll leave you to the hearing of the cause, hoping you'll find good cause to whip them all.
Now, sir, come on. What was done to Elbow's wife once more?
Once, sir? Nothing done to her once.
I beseech you, sir, ask him what this man did to my wife.
Well, sir, what did this gentleman to her?
I beseech you, sir, look in this gentleman's face. Doth Your Honor mock his face?
Aye, sir. Very well.
Doth Your Honor see any harm in his face?
Why, no.
I'll be supposed upon a book, his face is the worst thing about him. Good. Then if his face be the worst thing about him, how could Master Froth do the constable's wife any harm?
He's in the right, Constable. What say you to it?
First, and it like you, the house is a respected house. Next, this is a respected fellow, and his mistress is a respected woman.
By this hand, sir, his wife is more respected person than any of us all.
Varlet, thou liest. Thou liest, wicked varlet. This time is yet come that she was, the time is yet come that she was ever respected with a man, woman, or child.
So she was respected with him before he married with her.
Oh, thou varlet, I respected with her before I was married to her. If I was respected with her, or she with me, let not your worship think me the poor duke's officer.
What trade are you of, sir?
A tapster. The poor widow's tapster.
Your mistress's name?
Mistress Overdone.
Had she had any more than one husband?
Oh, 9, sir. Overdone.
Master Froth, I would not have you acquainted with tapsters. They will draw you, Master Froth, and you will hang. Get you gone. Let me hear no more of you.
I thank your worship. For my own part, I never come into any room in a tap house, but I am drawn in. So.
Well, no more of it, Master Froth. Farewell. What's your name, Mr. Tapster?
Pompey.
What else?
Bum, sir.
Truth. And your bum is the greatest thing about you, so that in the beastliest sense, you are Pompey the Great. Pompey, you are partly a bod, Pompey, howsoever you color it in being a tapster, are you not?
Truly, sir, I'm a poor fellow that would live.
What do you think of the trade, Pompey? Is it a lawful trade?
If the law would allow it, sir.
Oh, but the law will not allow it, Pompey. There is pretty orders beginning, I can tell you. It is but heading and hanging.
You head and you hang all that offend that way for 10 years together. I'll rent the fairest house after it, 3 pence a bay.
In requital of your prophecy, hark you? I advise you, let me not find you before me again upon any complaint whatsoever. If I do, Pompey, I shall have you whipped.
I thank your worship for your good counsel. Whip me, no. Let the common whip his jade. The valiant heart's not whipped out of his trade.
How long have you been in this place of constable?
7.5 years, sir.
7 years together?
And a half, sir.
Fare you well. It grieves me for the death of Claudio, but there is no remedy.
Lord Angelo is severe.
It is but needful. Mercy is not itself, that oft looks so. Pardon is still the nurse of second woe.
Now, what's the matter, Provost?
Is it your will that Claudio shall die tomorrow?
Did not I tell thee, yea? Hast thou not order?
Under your good correction, I have seen when, after execution, judgment hath all repented his doom.
Go to, let that be mine. Do you your office, or give up your place?
I crave your honor's pardon.
Here's the sister of the man condemned, desires access to you.
Athia's sister?
I, my good lord, a very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of a sisterhood, if not already.
Well, let her be admitted.
Save your honor.
Stay a little while. You're welcome. What's your will?
I'm a woeful suitor to your honor.
Well, what's your suit?
I have a brother is condemned to die. I do beseech you, let it be his fault, and not my brother.
Heaven give thee moving graces.
Condemn the fault and not the actor of it. Why, every fault's condemned ere it be done. Mine were the very cipher of a function to fine the faults whose fine stands in record, and let go by the actor.
Oh, just, but severe law. I had a brother then. Heaven keep your honor.
Oh, give not Orso to him again. Entreat him to him, I say.
Must he needs die?
No remedy.
Yes, I do think that you might pardon him, and neither heaven nor man grieve at the mercy.
I will not do it.
But can you if you would?
Look, what I will not, that I cannot do.
But might you do it, and do the world no wrong, if so your heart were touched with that remorse as mine is to him?
He's sentenced, 'tis too late.
Ah, you are too cold.
Too late? Why now, I that do speak a word may call it back again. Well, believe this, no ceremony that to great ones longs becomes them with one half so good a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you, and you as he, you would have slipped like him, but he like you would not have been so stern.
Pray you be gone. Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words.
Alas, alas, how would you be if he which is the top of judgment should but judge you as you are? Think on that.
Be you content, fair maid. It is the law, not I, condemn your brother. Were he my kinsman, brother, or my son, it should be thus with him. He must die tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, that's sudden. Spare him. Spare him. He's not prepared for death. My lord, bethink you. Who is it that hath died for this offense? There's many have committed it.
Aye, well said.
The law hath not been dead, though it hath slept. Those many had not dared to do that evil if the first that did the edict infringe had answered for his deed.
Yet show some pity.
I show it most of all when I show justice, for then I pity those I do not know, which a dismissed offense would after gall. Your brother dies tomorrow, be content.
So you must be the first that gives the sentence and he that suffers. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant's strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant.
Oh, that's well said.
Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would never be quiet. For every pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as makes the angels weep.
Pray heaven she win him.
Why do you put these sayings upon me?
Because authority, though it err like others, hath yet a kind of medicine in itself that skins the vice of the top. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know that's like my brother's fault. If it confess a natural guiltiness, such as is his, let it not sound a thought upon your tongue against my brother's life.
She speaks, and 'tis such sense that my sense breeds with it. Fare you well.
Gentle, my lord, turn back.
I will bethink me. Come again tomorrow.
Hark, now I'll bribe you. Good my lord, turn back.
How? Bribe me?
Aye, with such gifts that heaven shall share with you. Not with fond sickles of the tested gold, or stones whose rate are either rich or poor as fancy values them, but with true prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there ere sunrise.
Well, come to me tomorrow.
Heaven keep your honor safe.
Amen. For I am that way going to temptation where prayers cross.
At what hour tomorrow shall I attend your lordship?
Any time forenoon.
Save your honor.
From thee, even from thy virtue. What's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted? Who sins most? Huh? Not she, nor does she tempt, but it is I that lying by the violet in the sun do as the carrion does, not as the flower, corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our sense than woman's lightness? Oh, fie, fie, fie. What dost thou, or what art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live. Thieves for their robbery have authority when judges steal themselves. What, do I love her, that I desire to hear her speak again and feast upon her eyes? Well, what is't I dream on? Oh, cunning enemy, that to catch a saint with saint's dust bait thy hook. Most dangerous is that temptation that doth goad us on to sin in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet with all her double vigour, art and nature once stir my temper, but this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Ever till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how.
Hail to thee, Provost. So I think you are?
I am the Provost. What is your will, good friar?
Bound by my charity and my blessed order, I come to visit the afflicted spirits here in the prison, that I may minister to them accordingly.
Oh, look, here comes one, a gentlewoman of mine, who, falling in the flaws of her own youth, hath blistered her report. She's with child, and he that got it sentenced. A young man more fit to do another such offense than die for this.
When must he die?
As I do think, tomorrow.
Repent you, fair one, of the sin you carry.
Oh, I do. And bear the shame most patiently.
I'll teach you how you shall arraign your conscience and try your penitence, if it be sound or hollowly put on.
Yeah, I'll gladly learn.
Love you the man that wronged you?
Yes, as I do love the woman who wronged him.
But then it seems that your most offenseful act was mutually committed.
Mutually.
Then was your sin of the heavier kind than his.
I do confess it and repent it, Father, and take the shame with joy.
There rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow.
What?
And I'm going with instructions to him. Grace go with you. Benedicite.
Must die tomorrow. Oh, injurious love that respites me now when life was very comfort is still a dying horror.
'Tis pity of him.
When I would pray and think, I think and pray to several subjects. Heaven hath my empty words, whilst my invention, hearing not my tongue, anchors on Isabel. Heaven in my mouth, as if I did but only chew his name, and in my heart the strong and swelling evil of my conception. The state whereon I studied is like a good thing, being often read, grown sere and tedious. Yea, like gravity, wherein let no man hear me, I take pride. Could I with boots change for an idle plume, which the air beats for vain? Place. Form. How often dost thou with thy case, thy habit, wrench ore from fools and tie the wiser souls to thy false seeming? Blood. Thou art blood. Let's write good angel on the devil's horn. 'Tis not the devil's crest. How now? Who's there?
One
there?
Isabel, a sister, desires access to see you.
Yeah, well, teach her the way. Oh, heavens. Why does my blood thus muster to my heart, making both it unable for itself and dispossessing all my other parts of necessary fitness? So play the foolish throngs with one that swoons. You know, they come all to help him, and so stop the air by which he should revive. How now, fair maid?
I am come to know your pleasure.
That you might know it would much better please me than to demand what 'tis. Your brother cannot live.
Even so, heaven keep your honor.
Yet he may live a while, and it may be as long as you or I. Yet he must die.
Under your sentence?
Yep.
When I beseech you, that in his reprieve, longer or shorter, he may be so fitted that his soul sicken not.
Oh, fie, these filthy vices. You know, it were as good to pardon him that hath from nature stolen a man already made, as to remit their saucy sweetness that do coin heaven's image in stamps that are forbid.
'Tis set down so in heaven, but not in earth.
Say you so then. Then I shall pose you quickly. Which had you rather, that the most just law now took your brother's life, or to redeem him, give up your body to such sweet uncleanness as she that he had stained?
Sir, believe this, I had rather give my body than my soul.
I talk not of your soul. Our compelled sins stand more for number than for account.
How say you?
I'll not warrant that, for I can speak against the thing I say. Answer to this. I, now the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother's life. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life?
Please you to do it. I'll take it as a peril to my soul. It is no sin at all, but charity.
Pleased you to do it at peril of your soul, were equal poise of sin and charity.
That I do beg his life. If it be sin, heaven let me bear it. You granting of my suit, if that be sin, I'll make it my morn prayer to have it added to the faults of mine, and nothing of your answer.
Nay, but hear me, your sense pursues not mine. Either you are ignorant, or seem so crafty, and that's not good.
Let be ignorant, and in nothing good, but graciously to know I am no better.
Us wisdom wishes to appear most bright when it doth tax itself, but mark me. To be received plain, I'll speak more gross. Your brother is to die.
So.
And his offence is so, as it appears, accountant to the law upon that pain.
True.
Admit no other way to save his life, but in the loss of question, that you, his sister, finding yourself desired of such a person whose credit with the judge or own great place could fetch your brother from the manacles of the all-binding law, and that there were no earthly mean to save him, but that either you must lay down the treasures of your body to this supposed, or else to let him suffer. What would you do?
As much for my poor brother as myself. That is, were I under the terms of death, the impression of keen whips I'd wear as rubies, and strip myself to death as to a bed that longing had been sick for, ere I'd yield my body up to shame.
Then must your brother die.
And 'twere the cheaper way. Better it were a brother died at once than that a sister by redeeming him should die forever.
Were not you then as cruel as the sentence that you have slandered so?
Ignominy and ransom and free pardon are two houses. Lawful mercy is nothing kin to foul redemption.
You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and rather prove the sliding of your brother a merriment than a vice.
Oh, pardon me, my lord. It oft falls out to have what we would have. We speak not what we mean. I something do excuse the thing I hate for his advantage that I dearly love.
We are all frail.
Else let my brother die. If not feodary, but only he owe, and success thy weakness.
Nay, women are frail too.
Aye, as the glasses where they view themselves, which are as easy broke as they make forms. Women, help heaven. Men their creation mar in profiting by them. Nay, call us 10 times frail, for we are soft, as our complexions are, and credulous to false prints.
I think it well. And from this testimony of your own sex, since I suppose we are made to be no stronger than faults may shake our frames, let me be bold. I do arrest your words, be that you are. That is, a woman. If you be more, you're none. If you be one, as you are well expressed by all external warrants, show it now, by putting on the destined livery.
I have no tongue but one. Gentle, my lord, let us entreat you speak the former language.
Plainly conceive, I love you.
My brother did love Juliet, and you tell me that he shall die for it?
He shall not, Isabel, if you give me love.
I know your virtue hath a license in it, which seems a little fouler than it is, to pluck on others.
Leave me, on mine honor, my words express my purpose.
Oh, a little honor, to be much believed, and most pernicious purpose. Seeming, I will proclaim thee, Angelo, look for it. Sign me a present pardon for my brother, or with an outstretched throat, I'll tell the world aloud what man you are.
Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, my vouch against you, and my place in the state will so your accusation overweigh that you shall stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. I have begun, and now I give my sensual race the rein. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for. Redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will, or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow, or by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can. My false always, your true. Stop.
To whom should I complain? Did I tell this, who would believe me? Oh, perilous mouths that bear in them one and the self-same tongue, bidding the law make courtesy to their will, hooking both right and wrong to the appetite to follow as it draws. I'll to my brother. Though he hath fallen by prompter of the blood, yet hath he in him such a mind of honor, that had he 20 heads to tender down on 20 bloody blocks, he'd yield them up before his sister, should her body stoop to such abhorred pollution. Then Isabel, live chaste, and brother die. More than our brother is our chastity. I'll tell him yet of Angelo's request, and fit his mind to death for his soul's rest.
So then you hope of pardon from Lord Angelo?
The miserable have no other medicine but only hope. I have hope to live, am prepared to die.
Be absolute for death. Either death or life shall thereby be the sweeter. Reason thus with life. If I do lose thee, I do lose a thing that none but fools would keep. A breath thou art, servile to all the sky influences that doth this habitation where thou keepst hourly afflict. Merely thou art death's fool. For him thou labourest by thy flight to shun, and yet runst toward him still. Thou art not valiant, for thou dost fear the soft and tender fork of a poor worm. Happy thou art not, for what thou hast not, still thou strivest to get, and what thou hast forgett'st. Thou art not certain, for thy complexion shifts to strange effects. After the moon, thou hast nor youth nor age, but as 'twere an after dinner's sleep, dreaming on both. For all thy blessed youth becomes as aged, and does beg the alms of palsied eld. And when thou art old and rich, hast neither heat, affection, limb, nor beauty to make thy riches pleasant. What's yet in this that bears the name of life? Yet in this life lie hid more thousand deaths, yet death we fear that makes these odds all even.
I humbly thank you. To sue to live, I find I seek to die, and seeking death, find life. Let it come on.
What ho! Peace here, grace and good company.
Dear sir, ere long I'll visit you again.
Most holy sir, I thank you.
My business is a word or two with Claudio.
And very welcome. Look, Signor, here is your sister.
Provost, a word with you.
As many as you please.
Bring me to hear them speak where I may be concealed.
Now, sister, what's the comfort?
Why, Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador. Therefore, your best appointment, make with speed. Tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
Yes, you may live. There is a devilish mercy in the judge. If you'll implore it, that will free your life, but fetter you till death.
Perpetual durance.
Aye, just perpetual durance.
But in what nature?
Oh, I do fear thee, Claudio. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension, and the poor beetle that we tread upon in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hung it in mine arms.
There spake my brother. Yes, thou must die. Thou art too noble. This outward sainted deputy is yet a devil.
The princely Angelo?
Oh, 'tis the cunning livery of hell. The damnedest body to invest and cover in princely guards. Dost thou think, Claudio, if I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be freed?
Oh, heavens, it cannot be.
Yes, he would give it thee. This night's the time that I should do what I abhor to name, or else thou diest tomorrow.
Thou shalt not do it.
Oh, were it but my life, I'd throw it down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin.
Thanks, dear Isabel.
Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Yes. Has he affections in him that thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it? Sure it is no sin, or of the deadly seven it is the least.
Which is the least?
If it were damnable, he being so wise, why would he for the momentary trick be perdurably fined? Oh, Isabel.
What says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing.
And shamed life a hateful.
Aye, but to die and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, this sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in the viewless winds and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, or to be worse than worst, of those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine howling. 'Tis too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas, alas.
Sweet sister, let me live. What sin you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue.
Oh, you beast! Wilt thou be made a man out of my vice? Die, perish, might but my bending down reprieve thee from thy fate, it should proceed. I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death, no word to save thee.
Okay, hear me, Isabel.
Fie, fie, fie. Thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. Mercy to thee would prove itself a bod. 'Tis best that thou diest quickly.
Oh, hear me, Isabella.
Well, vouchsafe word, young sister, but one word.
What is your will?
Might you dispense with your leisure? I would by and by have some small speech with you. The satisfaction I would require is likewise your own benefit.
I have no superfluous leisure. My stay must be stolen out of other affairs. I will attend you a while.
Son. I have overheard what had passed between you and your sister. Angelo had never the purpose to corrupt her, only he hath made an essay of her virtue, to practice his judgment with the disposition of natures. She hath made him that gracious denial which he is most glad to receive. I'm the confessor to Angelo, and I know this to be true. Therefore, prepare yourself for death.
Let me ask my sister pardon. I am so out of love with life that I will sue to be rid of it.
Hold you there. Farewell. Provost, a word with you.
What is your will, father?
But now you are come, you will be gone again. Leave me a while with this maid. The assault that Angelo hath made to you, fortune hath conveyed to my understanding. How will you do to content this substitute and save your brother?
I am now going to resolve him. I had rather my brother die by the law than my son should be unlawfully born. But oh, how much is the good Duke deceived in Angelo. If ever he return and I can speak to him, I will discover his government.
He shall not be much amiss. Yet as the matter now stands, he will avoid your accusation. Therefore, fasten your ear on my advisings. A remedy presents itself. I do make myself believe that you may most uprighteously do a poor wronged lady a merited benefit, redeem your brother from the angry law, do no stain to your own gracious person, and much please the absent Duke.
I have spirit to do anything that appears not foul in the truth of my spirit.
Have you heard speak of Mariana, the sister of Frederick, the great soldier?
I have heard of the lady, and good words went with her name.
She should this Angelo have married. She was affianced and the nuptial appointed, between which time her brother Frederick was wracked at sea, having in that perished vessel the dowry of his sister. There she lost a noble and renowned brother, with him her marriage dowry, and with both her competent husband, this well-seeming Angelo.
Can this be so? Did Angelo so leave her?
Left her in her tears and dried not a one of them with his comfort. Swallowed his vows whole, pretending in her discoveries of dishonor.
What corruption in this life that it will let this man live? But how out of this can she avail?
Well, the forenamed maid hath yet in her the continuance of her first affection. His unjust unkindness, that in all reason should have quenched her love, hath, like an impediment in the current, made it more violent and unruly. Go you to Angelo. Answer his requiring with a plausible obedience. Agree with his demands to the point. Only refer yourself to this advantage. First, that your stay with him may not be long. That the time may have all shadow and silence in it, the place answer to convenience, and this being granted in course, we shall advise this wronged maid to go in your place. If the encounter acknowledge itself hereafter, it may compel him to her recompense. And hereby this, your brother saved, your honor untainted, a poor Mariana advantaged, and the corrupt deputy scaled. What think you of it?
The image of it gives me content already, and I trust it will grow to a most prosperous perfection.
But you speedily to Angelo. If for this night he entreat you to his bed, give him promise of satisfaction. I will presently to this dejected Mariana.
I thank you for this comfort. Fare you well, good father.
Come your way, sir. God bless you, father.
Oh, and you, good brother father, what offense hath this man made you, sir?
Oh, marry, sir, he hath offended the law, and sir, we take him to be a thief too.
Fie, sirrah, a bawd, a wicked bawd. The evil that thou causest to be done, this is thy means to live. Say to thyself, I drink, I eat away myself, and live? Canst thou believe that living is a life so stinkingly depending? Go mend, go mend.
Indeed, it does stink in some sort, sir. Yes, sir, I would prove.
Take him to prison. Correction and instruction must both work in this rude beast before he'll profit.
Oh, his neck will come to your waist accord, sir.
I spy comfort. I cry bail. Here's a gentleman and a friend of mine.
How now? Noble Pompey? What, at the wheels of Caesar art thou led in triumph? Art going to prison, Pompey?
Yeah, great bub.
Why, 'tis not amiss, Pompey. Farewell. Go, say I sent thee thither. Wait, for debt, Pompey, or how?
For being a bawd.
Ah, Well, then imprison him. Bawd he is doubtless, and of antiquity too, bawd born. Farewell, good Pompey. Commend me to the prison, Pompey.
I hope, your good worship will be my bail.
No, indeed I will not, Pompey. It is not the wear. Adieu, trusty Pompey.
Come your way, sir. Come.
You'll not bail me then, bub?
Now then, Pompey, nor now. Hey, what news, noble friar, what news?
Come your ways, sir.
Go to kennel, Pompey, go. What news, friar, of the Duke?
I know none. Can you tell me any?
Well, some say he is with the Emperor of Russia. Others some he is in Rome. But where is he, think you?
I know not. But wheresoever, I wish him well.
It was a mad, fantastical trick of him to steal from the state. Ugh. Lord Angelo dukes it well in his absence, huh? He puts transgression to it.
He does well in it?
A little more lenient to lechery would do no harm in him. They say this Angelo was not made by man and woman after the downright way of creation. Is it true, think you?
How should he be made then?
Oh, well, some report a sea maid spawned him. Some that he was begot between two stars. But it is certain that when he makes water, his urine is congealed ice. That I know to be true.
You are pleasant, sir, and speak apace.
Why, what a ruthless thing is this in him, then, for the rebellion of a codpiece to take away the life of a man? Would the Duke that is absent have done this? Huh? Ere he would have hanged a man for getting 100 bastards, he would have paid for the nursing 1,000. He had some feeling of the sport. He knew the service, and that instructed him to mercy.
I never heard the absent Duke to be much detected for women. He was not inclined that way.
Sir, you are deceived.
'Tis not possible.
Yes, and his use was to put a ducat in her clack dish. He would be drunk too. That, let me inform you.
You do him wrong, surely.
Sir, I was an inward of his, and I believe I know the cause of his withdrawing.
What, I prithee, might be the cause?
No, pardon. 'Tis a secret, and must be locked within the lips and the teeth. But this I can let you understand. A very superficial, ignorant, unweighing fellow.
Either this is envy in you, folly, or mistaking. The very stream of his life and the business that he hath helmed must give him a better proclamation. He shall appear a scholar, a statesman, and a soldier.
Oh, come, sir. I know what I know.
I pray you, sir, your name?
Oh, sir, my name is Lucio, well known to the Duke.
He shall know you better, sir, if I may live to report it.
I fear you not. But no more of this. I would the Duke we talk of were returned again. This ungentured agent will unpeople the province with constancy. Sparrows must not build in his house eaves because they are lecherous. Ugh. Farewell, good friar. I prithee, pray for me. The Duke, I say to thee again, would mouth with a beggar, though she smelt brown bread and garlic. Say I say so. Farewell.
Go away with her to the prison.
Good, my lord, be good to me. Your honor is accounted a merciful man, good my lord.
Bawd of 11 years continuance, may it please your honor.
My lord, this is one Lucio's information against me. Mistress Kate Keepdown was with child by him in the Duke's time. He promised her marriage. His child is 1.25 years old. I have kept it myself. And see how he goes about to abuse me?
That fellow is a fellow of much license. Let him be called before us. Away with her to prison. Provost, my brother Angelo will not be altered. Claudio must die tomorrow.
So please you, this friar hath been with him and advised him for the entertainment of death.
Good even, Father.
Bliss and goodness on you.
Of whence are you?
Not of this country. I am a brother of a gracious order. It's late come from the sea in special business from His Holiness.
What news abroad in the world?
None. But that there is so great a fever on goodness that the dissolution of it must cure it. There's scarce truth enough alive to make societies secure. This news is old enough, yet it is every day's news. I pray you, sir, of what disposition was the Duke? What pleasure was he given to?
Rather rejoicing to see another merry than merry at anything which professed to make him rejoice. A gentleman of all temperance, but we leave him to his events. And let me desire to know how you find Claudio prepared.
He willingly humbles himself to the determination of justice, yet had he framed to himself by the instruction of his frailty many decaying promises of life, which I have discredited to him. Now he is resolved to die.
I have labored for the poor gentleman to the extremest shore of my modesty. I'm going to visit the prisoner. Fare you well.
Peace be with you. He who the sword of heaven will bear should be as holy as severe, more nor less to others paying than by self-offenses weighing. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice treble shame on Angelo, to weed my vice and let his grow. Craft against vice I must apply. With Angelo this night shall lie his old betrothed, but despised. So, disguise shall by the disguised pay with falsehood, false exacting, and perform an old contracting.
Take those lips away that so sweetly were forsworn, and those eyes that break of day, lights that could mislead the morn. But my kisses bring again, seals of love but sealed in vain. Sealed in vain.
Break off thy song and haste thee quick away. Here comes a man of comfort whose advice hath often stilled my brawling discontent. I cry you, mercy, sir, and well could wish you had not found me here so musical. Let me excuse me, and believe me so, my mirth it much displeased, but pleased my woe.
It is good, though music oft hath such a charm to make bad good, and good provoke to harm. Pray tell me, hath anyone inquired for me here today? Much upon this time, I've promised to meet someone.
You have not been inquired after. I have sat here all day.
Oh, the time's come even now. I shall crave your forbearance a little. Maybe I will call upon you anon for some advantage to yourself.
I am always bound to you.
Very well met. And welcome. What is the news from the...
He hath a garden circummed with brick, whose western side is with a vineyard backed, and to that vineyard is a planched gate. That makes his opening with this bigger key. This other doth command a little door, from which the vineyard to the garden leads. There have I made my promise upon the heavy middle of the night to call upon him.
But shall you on your knowledge find this way?
I have ta'en a due and wary note upon't, with whispering and most guilty diligence in action, all of precept, he did show me the way twice o'er.
Oh, are there no other tokens between you agreed concerning her observance?
No, none but only repaireth dark, and that I have possessed him, my most stay can be but brief. I have made him known. I have a servant comes with me along that stays upon me, whose persuasion is I come about my brother.
It is well borne up. I have not yet made known to Mariana a word of this. What ho, within, come forth.
Oh.
I pray you, be acquainted with this maid. She comes to do you good.
I do desire the like.
Do you persuade yourself that I respect you?
Good Friar, I know you do, and have found it.
Take then this your companion by the hand, who hath a story ready for your ear.
Will please you walk aside?
No might nor greatness in mortality can censure scape. What king so strong can tie the gall up of a slanderous tongue? Place and greatness, millions of false eyes are stuck upon thee. Volumes of report run with those false and most contrarious quest upon thy doings. Thousand escapes of wit make thee the father of their idle dream and rack thee in their fancies. Welcome, how agreed?
She'll take the enterprise upon her, father, if you advise it.
It is not my consent, but
Little
I
have
entreat
you to little have you to say when you depart from him, but soft and low, remember now my brother.
Fear me not.
Oh, no, gentle daughter, fear you not at all. He is your husband on a pre-contract. To bring you thus together is no sin, since the justice of your title to him doth flourish the deceit. Come, let us go. Our corn is to reap, for yet our tithes to sow.
Here is in our prison a common executioner, who in his office lacks a helper. If you will take it on you to assist him, it shall redeem you from your jibes. If not, you shall have your full time of imprisonment and your deliverance with an unpitied whipping, for you have been a notorious bawd.
Sir, I've been an unlawful bawd. Time out of mind. But yet I will be content to be a lawful hangman.
What ho, Porson?
Yeah.
Where's the Porson there?
Do you call, sir?
Sirrah, here's a fellow will help you tomorrow in your execution. If you think it meet, compound with him by the year, and let him abide here with you. If not, use him for the present and dismiss him. He cannot plead his estimation with you. He hath been a bawd.
A bawd, sir? Fire upon him. He will discredit our mystery.
You, Sirrah, provide your block and your axe tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Come on board. I will instruct thee in my trade. Follow.
I do desire to learn, sir.
Look, here's the warrant, Claudio, for thy death. 'Tis now dead midnight, and by 8 tomorrow thou must be made immortal. Where is Barnardine?
Fast locked up in sleep as guiltless labor when it lies starkly in a traveller's bones. He will not wake.
Who can do good on him? Well, go, prepare yourself. Welcome, Father.
The best and wholesome spirits of the night envelop you, good Provost. Who called here of late?
None, since the curfew rung.
Not Isabel?
No.
Have you no counterman for Claudio yet? But he must die tomorrow.
None, sir, none.
Oh, this is his lord's man.
And here comes Claudio's pardon.
My lord hath sent you this note, and by me this further charge that you not swerve, not from the smallest article of it. Good morrow, for as I take it, it is almost day.
I shall obey him.
This is his pardon, purchased by such sin as the pardoner himself is in. Now, sir, what news?
I told you, Lord Angelo, belike thinking me remiss in mine office, awakens me with this unwonted putting on, methinks strangely, for he hath not used it before.
Pray you, let's hear it.
Whatsoever you may hear to the contrary, let Claudio be executed by 4 of the clock, and in the afternoon Barnardine. For my better satisfaction, let me have Claudio's head sent me by 5? Fail not to do your office, as you will answer it at your peril. What say you to this, sir?
What is that Barnardine who's to be executed in the afternoon?
one that is a prisoner 9 years old.
How came it that the absent duke had not either delivered him to his liberty nor executed him? I've heard that it was ever his manner to do so.
His friends still wrought reprieves for him.
Hath he borne himself penitently in prison? How seems he to be touched?
A man that apprehends death no more dreadfully, but as a drunken sleep, careless, reckless, and fearless of what's past, present, or to come.
Ah, he wants advice.
He will hear none. He hath evermore had the liberty of the prison. Give him leave to escape hence, he would not. Drunk many times a day, if not many days entirely drunk. We have very oft awaked him as if to carry him to execution, and he showed him a seeming warrant for it. It hath not moved him.
More of him anon. There is written in your brow, Provost, honesty and constancy. I will lay myself in hazard. Claudio, whom here you have warrant to execute, is no greater forfeit to the law than Angelo, who hath sentenced him. To make you understand this, in a manifested effect, I crave but 4 days respite.
Pray, sir, in what?
In the delaying death.
Alack, how may I do it? Having express command to deliver his head in the view of Angelo, I may make my case as Claudio's to cross this in the smallest.
Let this Barnardine be this morning executed, and his head borne to Angelo.
Angelo hath seen them both, and will discover the favor.
Oh. Well, death's a great disguiser. And you may add to it, and you shave the head and tie the beard and say it was the desire of the penitent to be so barbered before his death. You know, the course is common these days. If anything fall to you upon this, by the saint whom I profess, I will plead against it with my life.
Pardon me, good father. It's against my oath.
Were you sworn to the Duke or the deputy?
To him and to his substitutes.
You will think that you've made no offence if the Duke avouched the justice of your dealing.
What likelihood is in that?
Ah, look you, sir. Oh, here is the hand and the seal of the Duke. You know the character, I doubt it not, and the signet. It's not strange to you.
I know them both.
The contents of this is the return of the Duke. You shall anon overread it at your pleasure, where you shall find that within these 2 days he will be here. But this is a thing that Angelo knows not. For he, this very day, receives letters of a strange tenor, perchance of the Duke's death, perchance of entering into some monastery, but by chance, nothing of what is writ. Look, the unfolding star calls up a shepherd. Put not yourself into an amazement. No, all the difficulties are but easy when they are known. Call your executioner, and off with Barnardine's head. I will give him a present shrift and advise him for a better place. Yet you are amazed. But this shall absolutely resolve you. Come away, it's almost clear dawn.
Ah, now I am in prison. The more fool I when I was at home, I was in a better place. I'm as well acquainted here as I was in our house of profession. The bar. One would think it was Mistress Overdone's bar, our own house here, because look, I recognize everyone in the place. Let me, who we got? Let's see, we got. Oh, Christine Rockwood. Oh, my humor's dirty. Record is pristine, so bottoms up. I drink to you, Christine. Ah, look at this. A lovely piece of work with the glasses. I drink to you too, brother. Kristen Soul. Oh. Kristen Soul. A good soul, so they say. I'll drink to you tomorrow. And today. Chelsea Kaufman. Aloha, Chelsea, and mahalo too. Let's drink the night away in Oahu. Kramer. Ben Kramer. Kramer, brother. No photos here tonight, but IPAs and stouts will crush real soon, all right? There's like 40 more of you here. All great doers in our trade, and off for now, for the Lord's sake.
Sirrah, bring Barnardine hither.
Master Barnardine! Must rise and behave, Matt Barnardine!
What ho! Barnardine!
Poxy your throats. What makes a noise there? What are you?
Your friend, sir, the hangman. You must be so good to rise and be put to your death.
Oh, wait, Rogue. No, wait, I'm sleepy.
Wait, Master Barnardine, you awake till you're executed and you sleep afterwards.
Go in to fetch him and fetch him out. Is the axe upon the block, Sirrah?
Very ready, sir.
How now, Horson? What's the news with you?
Truly, sir, I would desire you to clap into your prayers, for look you, the warrant's come.
Oh, you rogue! I've been drinking all night. I'm not fitted for it.
The better, sir. For he that drinks all night and is hanged betimes in the morning may sleep the sounder all the next day.
Look you, sir, here comes your ghostly father. Do we jest now, think you?
Sir, induced by my charity and hearing how hastily you are to depart, I am come to advise you, comfort you, and pray with you.
Oh, Friar, no, not I. No, look, I've been drinking hard all night, and I will have more time to prepare me, or they shall bash out my brains with billets. I will not consent to die this day. That's
Oh, sir, you must, and therefore I beseech you, look forward on the journey you shall
no,
go.
I swear, I will not die for any man's persuasion.
But hear you,
Hey, no, not a word. If you have anything to say to me, come to my ward, for thence I will not die today.
Now, sir, how do you find the prisoner?
A creature unprepared, unmeet for death. And to transport him in this mind he is, it were damnable.
Here in the prison, sir, there died this morning of a cruel fever one Ragozine, a most notorious pirate, a man of Claudio's years, his beard and head just of his color. What if we do omit this reprobate till he were well inclined and satisfy the deputy with the visage of Ragozine more like to Claudio?
'Tis an accident that heaven provides. Dispatch it presently. The hour draws on, prefixed by Angelo. See this be done.
This shall be done, good father, presently, but Bonadine must die this afternoon, and how shall we continue Claudio to save me from the danger that might come if he were known alive?
Let this be done. Put them in secret holds, both Barnardine and Claudio. Quick dispatch and send the head to Angelo. Now will I write letters to Angelo, the provost, he shall bear them, whose contents shall witness to him that I am near at hand. And by that great injunctions I am bound to enter publicly. Him I'll desire to meet at the consecrated font, a league below the city, and from thence, by cold gradation and well-balanced form, we shall proceed with Angelo.
Here's the head. I'll carry it myself.
Oh, convenient, is it? Make a swift return, for I would compliment you of such things, but want no ear but yours.
I'll make all speed.
Peace ho, be here.
The tongue of Isabel. She's come to know if yet her brother's pardon be come hither, but I will keep her ignorant of her good, to make her heavenly comforts of despair when it is least expected.
Oh, by your leave.
Oh, good morning to you, fair and gracious daughter.
The better given me by so holy a man. Hath yet the deputy sent my brother's pardon?
He hath released him, Isabel, from the world. His head is off and sent to Angelo.
Nay, it is not so.
There's no other. Show in your wisdom, daughter, your close patience.
Oh, I will to him and pluck out his eyes.
You shall not be admitted to his sight.
Unhappy Claudio, wretched Isabel, injurious world, most damned Angelo.
No, this nor hurts him, nor profits you a jot. Mark what I say, which you shall find by every syllable of faithful verity. The Duke comes home tomorrow. Nay, dry your eyes. One of our convent and his confessor gives me this instance. Already he hath carried notice to Escalus and Angelo, who do prepare to meet him at the gates. They're to give up their power. If you can pace your wisdom, then you shall have your bosom on this wretch. Grace of the Duke, revenges to your heart and general honor.
I am directed by you.
Then this letter to Friar Peter give. Say by this token, I desire his company at Mariana's house tonight. Her cause and yours I'll perfect him withal, and he shall bring you before the Duke, and to the head of Angelo, accuse him home and home. For my poor self, I am combined by an sacred vow, and shall be absent. Trust not my holy order if I pervert your... Oh, who's here?
Friar, where's the provost?
Not within, sir.
Ah, oh, pretty Isabel, I am pale at mine heart to see thine eyes so red. Thou must be patient. By my troth, Isabel, I loved thy brother. If the old fantastical Duke of Dark Corners had been at home, he had lived.
Sir, the Duke is marvellous little beholden to your reports, but the best is he lives not in them.
Friar, thou knowst not the Duke so well as I do. He's a better woodman than thou takes him for.
Well, you'll answer this one day. Fare you well.
Nay, Terry, I'll go along with thee. I can tell thee pretty tales of the Duke.
You have told me too many of him already, sir, if they be true. If not true, then none were enough.
I was once before him, forgetting a wench with child.
Did you such a thing?
Yes, marry did I. But I was fain to forswear it. I mean, they would else have married me to the rotten meddler.
Sir, your company is fairer than honest. Rest you well.
By my troth, I'll go with thee to the lane's end. If body talk offend thee, we'll have very little of it. Nay, Friar, I am a kind of burr. I shall stick.
Why meet him at the gates and deliver our authorities there?
I guess not.
Why should we proclaim it an hour before his entering that if any crave redress of injustice, they should exhibit their petitions in the street?
He shows reason for that. To have dispatch of complaints and to deliver us from devices hereafter, which shall then have no power to stand against.
Well, I beseech you, let it be proclaimed betimes in the morn. I'll call you at your house. I'll give notice to such men of sort and suit as are to meet him.
I shall, sir. Fare you well.
Good night. This deed unshapes me quite, makes me unpregnant and dull to all proceedings, a deflowered maid, and by an eminent body that enforced the law against it, but that her tender shame will not proclaim against her maiden loss. How might she tongue me? Yet reason dares her no, for my authority bears such a credent bulk that no particular scandal once can touch, but it confounds the breather. He should have lived, save that his riotous youth with dangerous sense might in the times to come have ta'en revenge for so receiving a dishonoured life with ransom of such shame. Would he had lived! Alack! When once our grace we have forgot, nothing goes right. We would, and we would not.
To speak so indirectly, I am loath. I would say truth, yet am advised to do it. He says to veilful purpose.
Be ruled by him.
Besides, he tells me that if peradventure he speak against me on the adverse side, I should not think it strange, for 'tis a physic that's bitter to sweet end.
The friar is come.
Come, I have found you a stand most fit, where you shall have such vantage on the Duke he shall not pass you, and gravest citizens have hent the gates, and very near upon the Duke is entering, therefore hence, away.
Happy return be
to your royal grace.
Many and hearty thankings to you both. We have made inquiry of you, and we have heard such goodness of your justice that our soul cannot but yield you forth to public thanks.
Yo, you make my bonds still greater.
Oh, your desert speaks loud, and I should wrong it to lock it in the wards of covert bosom when it deserves in characters of brass afforded residence against the tooth of time.
Speak loud and kneel before him.
Justice, O royal Duke, veil your regard upon a wronged. I would fain have said a maid. O worthy prince, dishonor not your eye by throwing it on any other object. Shall you have heard me in my true complaint and given me justice, 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 justice?
Relate your wrongs. In what, by whom, be brief. Here is Lord Angelo shall give you justice. Reveal yourself to him.
O worthy Duke, you bid me seek redemption of the devil.
Oh, her wits, I fear me, are not firm. She hath been a suitor to me for her brother, cut off by course of justice.
By course of justice?
You will speak most bitterly and strange.
Most strange, but yet most truly will I speak. That Angelo's forsworn, is it not strange? That Angelo's a murderer, it's not strange? That Angelo is an adulterous thief, a hypocrite, a virgin violator, it's not strange and strange?
Nay, it's 10 times strange.
It is not truer he is Angelo. then this is all as true as it is strange. Nay, it is 10 times true, for truth is truth to the end
Away
of
with
all
her.
reckoning.
Poor soul, she speaks this in the infirmity of sense.
Oh, Prince, I conjure thee, as thou believest, there is another comfort than this world, that thou neglect me not with that opinion that I am touched with madness. 'Tis not impossible, but one, the wickedest caitiff on the ground, may seem as shy, as grave, as just, as absolute as Angelo. Even so may Angelo, in all his dressings, caracts, titles, forms, be an arch villain. Believe it, royal prince. If he be less, he is nothing. But he's more had I more name for badness.
By mine honesty, if she be mad, as I believe no other, her madness hath the oddest frame of sense. What would you say?
I am the sister of one Claudio, condemned upon the act of fornication to lose his head, condemned by Angelo. I, in probation of a sisterhood, was sent to by my brother, one Lucio, as then the messenger.
That's I, and it, like your grace.
You were not bid to speak.
No, my good lord, nor wished to hold my peace.
I wish you now then, pray you take note of it.
I warrant your honor.
The warrant is for yourself. Take heed to it.
This gentleman told somewhat of my tale.
Right.
It may be right, but you were in the wrong to speak before your time. Proceed.
I went to this pernicious caitiff deputy. How I persuaded, how I prayed and kneeled, how he repelled me, and how I replied, for this was of much length. The vile conclusion I now begin with grief and shame to utter. He would not, but by gift of my chaste body, to his concupiscible intemperate lust, release my brother, and after much debatement, my sisterly remorse confutes mine honor, and I did yield to him. But the next morn betimes his purpose surfeiting, he sends a warrant for my poor brother's head.
This is most likely.
Oh, that it were as like as it is true.
By heaven, fond wretch, thou knowst not what thou speakst, or else thou art suborned against his honor and hateful practice. Someone hath set you on. Confess the truth, and say by whose advice thou camest here to complain.
And is this all? Then, oh, you blessed ministers above, keep me in patience, and with ripened time unfold the evil which is here wrapped up in countenance. Heaven yield your grace from woe, as I thus wronged, hence unbelief I'd go.
To prison with her. Shall we thus permit a blasting and a scandalous breath to fall on him so near us? This needs must be a practice. Who knew of your intent in coming hither?
One would that I would were here, Friar Lodowick.
Who knows this Lodowick?
Oh, my lord. I know him. 'Tis a meddling friar. I do not like the man. Had he been lay, my lord, for certain words he spake against your grace in your retirement, I had swinged him soundly.
Words against me. Let this friar be found.
Oh, but yesternight, my lord, she and that friar, I saw them at the prison. Oh, a saucy friar, my lord, a very scurvy fellow.
Blessed be your royal grace. I have stood by, my lord, and I have heard your royal ear abused. First hath this woman most wrongfully accused your substitute, who is as free from touch or soil with her as she from one ungot.
We did believe no less. Know you that Friar Lodowick that she speaks of?
I know him for a man divine and holy, and on my trust a man that never yet did, as he vouches, misreport your grace.
Oh, my lord, most villainously believe it.
Well, he in time may come to clear himself, but at this instant he is sick, my lord, of a strange fever. Upon his mere request, being come to knowledge that there was a complaint intended against Lord Angelo, came I hither to speak as from his mouth. First for this woman, to justify this worthy noble man, so vulgarly and personally accused, her shall you hear disprove it to her eyes till she herself confess it.
Friar, let's hear it. Do you not smile at this, Lord Angelo? Oh, heaven, the vanity of wretched fools. Come, cousin Angelo, be you the judge of your own cause. Is this the witness, Friar? Oh, first let her show her face and after speak.
Pardon, my lord, I will not shew my face until my husband bid me.
Oh, what are you married?
No, my lord.
Are you maid?
No, my lord.
A widow, then?
Neither, my lord.
Why, then you're nothing, neither maid, widow, nor wife?
My lord, she may be a punk, for many of them are neither maid, widow, nor wife.
Silence that fellow!
Ah, well, my lord.
My lord, I do confess I never was married, and I confess besides I am no maid. I have known my husband, yet my husband knows not that ever he knew me.
He was drunk, then, my lord, it can be no better.
For the benefit of silence, would thou wert so too.
Ah, well, my lord.
This is no witness for Lord Angelo.
Now I come to it, my lord. She that accuses him of fornication in self-same manner doth accuse my husband and charges him, my lord, with such a time when I'll dispose I had him in mine arms with all the effect of love.
Charges she more than me?
Not that I know.
No? You say your husband?
Why, just, my lord, and that is Angelo, who thinks he knows that he ne'er knew my body, but knows he thinks that he knows Isabel's.
This is strange abuse. Let's see thy face.
My husband bids me. Now I will unmask. This is that face, thou cruel Angelo, which once thou sworst was worth the looking on. This is the hand which, with a vowed contract, was fast belocked in thine. This is the body that took away the match from Isabel and did supply thee at thy garden house in her imagined person.
Know you this woman?
Ah, carnally, she says.
Jura, no more.
Ah, enough, my lord.
I must confess I know this woman, and 5 years since there was some speech of marriage betwixt myself and her, which was broke off, partly for that her promised proportions came short of composition, but in chief for that her reputation was disvalued in levity, since which time of 5 years I never spake with her, saw her, nor heard from her, upon my faith and honor.
Noble prince, as there comes light from heaven and words from breath, I am affianced this man's wife as strongly as words can make up vows. And my good lord, but Tuesday night last gone in Garden's house, he knew me as a wife. As this is true, let me in safety raise from my knees, or else forever be confixed here in marble monument.
I did but smile till now. Now, good my lord, give me the scope of justice. My patience here is touched. I do perceive these poor informal women are no more but instruments of some more mightier member that sets them on. Let me have way, my lord, to find this practice out.
Aye, with my heart, and punish them to your height of pleasure. There is another friar that set them on. Let him be sent for.
Oh, would he were here, my lord, for he indeed hath set the woman on to this complaint. Your provost knows the place where he abides, and he may fetch him.
Go, do it instantly. And you, my noble and well-warranted cousin, do with your injuries as seems you best in any chastisement. I, for a while, will leave you, but stir you not until you have well determined upon these slanderers.
My lord, we'll do it thoroughly. Signor Lucio, did you not say you knew Friar Lodowick to be a dishonest person?
Oh, cacolus non fucket menacem. Honest in nothing but in his clothes, and one that hath spoke most villainous speeches of the Duke.
We shall entreat you to abide here till he come, and enforce them against him. We shall find this friar a notable fellow.
Oh, as any in Vienna, my lord.
Call that same Isabel here once again. I would speak with her. Pray you, my lord, give me leave to question. You shall see how I'll handle her.
Not better than he, by her own report.
Say you?
Marry, sir, I think if you handled her privately, she would sooner confess. Perchance, publicly she'll be ashamed.
I will go darkly to work with her.
That's the way. For women are light at midnight.
Come on, mistress. Here's a gentlewoman denies all that you have said.
Oh, my lord, here comes the rascal I spoke of here with the provost.
Very good time, speaker. Not you to him till we call upon you.
Mum.
Come, sir. Did you set these women on to slander Lord Angelo? They've confessed you did.
'Tis false.
How? Know you where you are?
Where is the Duke? 'Tis he should hear me speak.
The Duke is in us, and we will hear you speak. Look, you speak justly.
Boldly, at least. But oh, poor souls, come you to seek the lamb here, of the fox? Good night to your redress. The Duke's unjust to put your trial in the villain's mouth, which here you come to accuse.
This is the rascal. This is he I spoke of.
Thou unreverend and unhallowed friar. 'Tis not enough thou hast stubborn these women to accuse this worthy man, but in foul mouth and in the witness of his proper ear to call him villain, and then to glance from him to the Duke himself and tax him with injustice? Take him hence, to the rack with him. We'll touse you joint by joint, but we will know his purpose. What unjust.
Be not so hot. The Duke dare no more stretch his finger of mine than he dare rack his own. My business in the state made me a looker-on here in Vienna, where I have seen corruption boil and bubble till it all run the stew.
Slander to the state! Away with prison.
Can you vouch against him, Signor Lucio? Is this the man you did tell us of?
Oh, 'tis he, my lord. Come hither, Goodman Baldpate. Do you know me?
I remember you, sir, by the sound of your voice. I met you at the prison in the absence of the Duke.
Oh, did you so? Oh, and do you remember what you said of the Duke?
Most notedly, sir.
Do you so, sir? And was the Duke a fleshmonger? A fool and a coward, as you then reported him to be?
You must then, sir, change persons with me ere you make that report. You indeed spoke so of him, and much more, much worse.
You damnable fellow! Did I not pluck thee by the nose for thy speeches?
I protest, I love the Duke as I love myself.
Hark how the villain would close now after his treasonable abuses.
Away with him to prison! Let him speak no more! Away with those giglets too, and with the other Confederate companion.
Stay, sir, stay a while.
Not resist, see? Help him, Lucio.
Oh, come, sir, come, sir, come, sir. Oh, full, sir. Why, you bald-pated, lying rascal, you must be hooded, must you? Oh, show your knave's visage with a pox to you. Show your sheep-biting face and be hanged in an hour. Wilt not off?
Thou art the first knave that ever madest a duke. First, Provost, let me bail these gentle three. What you have spoke I pardon. Sir, by your leave, hast thou or word or wit or impudence that yet can do the office?
Oh, my dread lord, I should be guiltier than my guiltiness to think I can be undiscernible when I perceive your grace, like power divine, hath looked upon my passes. Then, good prince, no longer session hold upon my shame, but let my trial be mine own confession. Immediate sentence then and sequent death is all the grace I beg.
Come hither, Mariana. Say, wast thou contracted to this woman?
I was, my lord.
Go, take her hence, and marry her instantly. Do you the office, friar, which commensurate, return with him again. Come hither, Isabel. Your friar is now your prince. As I was then, advertising and wholly to your business, not changing my heart with my habit, I am still attorneyed at your service.
Oh, give me pardon that I, your vassal, have employed and pained your unknown sovereignty.
You are pardoned, Isabel, and now, dear maid, be you as free to us. Your brother's death, I know, sits at your heart, and And you may marvel why I obscured myself, laboring to save his life, and would not rather make rash remonstrance of my hidden power than let him be so lost. Most kind maid, it was the swift celerity of his death, which I did think with a slower foot came on, that brained my purpose, but peace be with him. That life is a better life, past fearing death, than that which lives to fear. Make it your comfort, so happy as your brother.
I do, my lord.
For this new married man approaching here, the very mercy of the law cries out, most audible even from his proper tongue, an Angelo for a Claudio, death for death. Haste still pays haste, and leisure answers leisure. Like doth quit like, and measure still for measure. We do condemn thee to the very block where Claudio stooped to death, and with like haste away with him.
Oh, my gracious lord, I hope you will not mock me with a husband.
Your husband mocked you with a husband. Consenting to the safeguard of your honor, I thought your marriage fit. But for his possessions, although by computation they are ours, we do instate and widow you with all, to buy you a better husband.
Oh, my dear lord, I crave no other, nor no better man.
Never crave him, we are definitive.
Gentle, my liege.
No, you do but lose your labor. Away with him to death. Now, sir, to you.
My good lord, sweet Isabel, take my part, lend me your knees, and all my life to come, I'll lend you all my life to do you service.
Against all sins you do importune her. Should she kneel down in mercy of this fact? Her brother's ghost his paved bed would break, and take her hence in horror.
Isabel, sweet Isabel, do yet but kneel by me. Hold up your hands, say nothing. I'll speak all. They say best men are molded of faults, and for the most become much more the better for being a little bad. So may my husband. Oh, Isabel, will you not lend a knee?
He dies for Claudio's death.
Most bounteous sir, look if it please you on this man condemned, as if my brother lived. I partly think a due sincerity governed his deeds, till he did look on me. Since it is so, let him not die. My brother had but justice, in that he did the thing for which he died. For Angelo, his act did not o'ertake his bad intent, and must be buried but as an intent that perished by the way. Thoughts are no subjects, intents, but merely thoughts.
Merely, my lord.
Your suit's unprofitable. Stand up, I say. I have bethought me of another fault. Provost, how came it Claudio was beheaded at an unusual hour?
It was commanded so.
Had you a special warrant for the deed?
No, my good lord, it was by private message.
For which I do discharge you of your office. Give up your keys.
Pardon me, noble lord, I thought it was a fault, but knew it not. Yet did repent me after more advice, for testimony whereof one in the prison, that should by private order else have died, I have reserved alive.
What's he?
His name is Barnardine.
I would thou hadst done so by Claudio. Go fetch him hither, let me look upon him.
I am sorry. One so learned and so wise as you, Lord Angelo, have still appeared, should slip so grossly, both in the heat of blood and lack of tempered judgment afterward.
I am sorry that such sorrow I procure, and so deep sticks it in my penitent heart that I crave death more willingly than mercy. 'Tis my deserving, and I do entreat it.
Which is Barnardine?
This, my lord.
There was a friar told me of this man. Sirrah, thou art said to have a stubborn soul that apprehends no further than this world, and squarest thy life according. Thou art condemned. But for those earthly faults, I quit them all. And pray you, take this mercy to provide for better times to come. What muffled fellow is that?
This is another prisoner that I saved, who should have died when Claudio lost his head, as almost like to Claudio as himself.
If he be like your brother, for his sake is he pardoned, and for your lovely sake, give me your hand and say you will be mine. He is my brother too. But fitter time for that. By this, Lord Angelo perceives he's safe. Well, Angelo, your evil quits you well. Look that you love your wife, her worth yours. Yet here is one in place I cannot pardon. You, Sirrah, that knew me for a fool, a coward, wherein have I so deserved of you that you extol me thus?
Faith, my lord, I spoke it but according to the trick. If you will hang me for it, you may. But I had rather it would please you I might be whipped.
Whipped first, sir, and hanged after. Proclaim it, Provost, around this city. If any woman wronged by this lewd fellow, as I have heard him swear himself, there's one he got with child, let her appear, and he shall marry her. The nuptial finished, let him be whipped and hanged.
I beseech your highness, do not marry me to a whore. Your highness said he now, I made you a duke. Good my lord, do not recompense me in making me a cuckold.
On mine honor, thou shalt marry her.
What?
Thy slanders I forgive. Take him to prison and see our pleasure here and executed.
Marrying a punk, my lord, is pressing to death, whipping and hanging.
Slandering a prince deserves it. She, Claudio, that you wronged, look you restore. Joy to you, Mariana. Love her, Angelo. I have confessed her, and I know her virtue. Thanks, good friend Escalus. Thanks, Provost, for thy care. Dear Isabel, I have a motion which much imports your good, whereinto, if you'll a willing ear incline, what's mine is yours, and what is yours is mine.
Yes, yes.
All right, also bring us to our palace, where we'll show what's yet behind. That's meet you all should know.
Great job, everybody. We're gonna kick it right away with a tasty groove here. Kick right into the 3 questions. We've got 3 questions at the end of each experience here. For the cast, 90-ish seconds. We'll kick it over to the chat on YouTube as well. But the question we'll kick off with is, what did you learn about the play today that you didn't know before?
It's funny. There's like lots of funny stuff in this play, and I have never thought of it as funny before, believe me. And I haven't really liked it before, but there's actually some really funny things in it. And it makes me wonder, you know, why it's always treated as such a tragedy.
Yeah, it has a pretty happy ending considering everything. And I know I'd never seen it perform before, and I'd never been in a production, so it was pretty new to me. And as I said to you earlier, Dan and Monty, that it struck me as a kind of a play that you'd read in law school, because it talks about the issues of mercy and justice and the law and how they all kind of conflict. So I really like it. I think it's one of the best.
I was muted. Anybody else? Pop over to the YouTube. Hadn't thought of this way before, but the play has both a bed trick and a head trick. Also, lots of hand claps and bravos and standing ovations. Great. The second question: what image, phrase, or word from the play jumped out at you today? I'll be rude and jump right on that, and it's probably from the interpretation of the role, but Josh, your treatment of the word punk. I hadn't heard that play. I had not heard that word in this play before, and it was really like I was giddy every time you said it. So that's just.
Our doubts are our traitors, and I didn't really know this play that much before this, so I always like heard that quote, but never knew who said it really, and was like, oh, that must be spoken from like a really like smart, wise person. And then how like Josh came through with what he did today, and I was like, oh, cool. So like reframed it a bit, which was really nice.
I love it when Shakespeare puts those like nuggets of gold that are quoted and, you know, stitched on people's pillows in the mouths, just relative morons.
The line that stood out to me today was when we were I forget who was talking to Mariana. He said, she said she was neither maid or wife nor widow. Why then you are nothing. That really hit home. Neither maid nor wife nor widow. Why then you're nothing. Not even a woman, my God.
Claudio has a line that I really heard. It's just a cool image that if I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride.
Oh yeah.
It's just the imagery of it is so vital.
Some thoughts from the YouTube. The repetition of "it's not strange" when describing the gross misconduct of an honored leader resonated so deeply. Best men are molded out of faults. Proud men dressed in a little brief authority. So there's a through line there. And Deb, you got some yes Debs and some rights and some yeps for what you were saying. So YouTube with you. The third question is why does this play matter to you right now? Assuming it does. And if it doesn't, why doesn't it matter to you right now? Why does this play matter to you right now? Assuming it does. And if it doesn't, why doesn't it matter?
I didn't think it mattered to me. But after hearing it today, hearing it yesterday, hearing it today, I really do think it matters that one can be put into a place of authority and and use it for your own ends so badly and so awfully at the expense of other people's lives. That seems to ring true to me these days.
Yeah, there's so many bits. I guess the common theme is the goalposts moving. You know, you think the world is a certain way, then suddenly new rules, totally different game. And it is interesting these days to be able to relate to that in a way that perhaps I wouldn't have before.
You know, I think it's called a problem play for lots of reasons. I think it has a lot of beautiful imagery and beautiful language, but I have difficulty with a lot of the actions of the Duke. You know, why does he not tell Isabella that her brother's alive? Why does he, you know, suddenly spring marriage on her? The way he treats people, the underhanded way, is really very problematic to me.
Oh yeah, when he knows who Angelo is because he knows about Mariana before the play begins.
Can I ask, did y'all rehearse like saying yes? To the marriage proposal, or did that just happen?
That kind of just happened.
Thank you for some agency at the end. Oh Lord.
We've disrobed.
Yeah, well, Monty said make a bold choice. I went for it.
And we all accepted the terms of agreement on Zoom, so that is legally binding. So congratulations, guys.
Kathy, I'm so sorry.
I wonder about the Christianity in this play. It troubles me that the Duke keeps taking people's confessions. Isn't he like sending them to damnation by not being a proper officer for that, John?
And that's why this play is so funny. It has to be funny. It can't be serious.
Oh.
I mean, it can have a serious point, but
Yeah, there's something interesting about Shakespeare's, you use the term problem plays, that I really like, that I feel like so often they're reliant on Elizabethan comedy, and we treat them like tragedies. You know, Merchant of Venice is a comedy. It's hilarious, and it's so hard to treat it like that. And this play is hilarious, and Taming of the Shrew, that it's just such, one of the things that I think is interesting and important about the play is that, to me, it points out how Shakespeare as a writer, even though he doesn't quite fit our cultural acceptability in terms of morality and goodness, in his own performance in historical context, he was in many ways a bit progressive in pushing the limits. And it's always interesting when you see him doing that in plays by having, you know, the traditional accepted power figures commit such heinous acts and trying to give some sort of agency. I don't know, but those problem plays are always interesting, and I feel like they often revolve around the comedies, and we don't like to treat them like comedies.
That's a really good point you're making there, Josh. There's some, because I've worked at the Globe a lot. There's this massive factor of, you know, playing it in the kind of environment he wrote those plays for. They are funny. It's like you go and see a play at the Globe, and you've got like a magic Willy Wonka ticket. Suddenly you get jokes. Suddenly you're witty. You know, because laughter's a communal activity. Suddenly, whoa! As opposed to being sat in the dark. Shush! Can you stop unwrapping your sweets? Plus, we were talking about this earlier. There's something about rehearsing for 6 weeks that can really suck the fucking joy out of it. Write them to be rehearsed for 6 to 7 weeks. You've got to learn your lines, get on there.
No, we do 2.5 here, Colin.
Oh, 2.5. Oh, well, you're closer. You're closer than...
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, so what do you do with the other, you know, hour and a half?
Yeah. Some thoughts from the YouTube on this. Who will believe, Angelo's "Who will believe thee, my false will raise your true," was the attitude of all the culprits in #MeToo. This play deals with a lot with manipulation of people by those in power like Angelo, and also by the Duke. Beware of those who like to play God. The play focuses on justice, which always mattered. So some thoughts from the YouTube. A question. We got 2 questions coming at you. So these are new. Simon Ballin asks, do you prefer Isabella's reaction to the Duke's proposal suggests a happy ending, the start of a new tragedy, or leave the outcome unclear? Do you prefer Isabella's reaction to the Duke's proposal suggests a happy ending, the start of a new tragedy, or leave the outcome unclear?
I think one of the joys of it is that whatever choice you make, you can't help as a member of the audience to think of the other choices. You know, as soon as she says yes, you're going, oh, but what if she said no? Or if she says no, you go, oh, what if she said yes?
She says nothing and just looks at him.
Yeah.
Which is also a choice, right?
Yeah. But we make up our own stories, don't we? Straight away.
And we don't know how the story ends. That would be another play. That would be part 2. But yeah, I just thought it needed something punchy at the end.
That was lovely.
Another question coming from YouTube, Joe Quinn, reinforced by Laura Piccoli. Is the Duke the real villain of the show? Is the Duke the real villain of the show?
I think Shakespeare was quite prescient, and he's really nailed this thing that there are different rules for royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And royalty will make friends with all sorts of people, and they'll do all sorts of things. And then suddenly, oh no, but you're a prince. Oh no, you're a duke. Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And they'll think that, oh, it's okay, I can get out of this. I was in pizza. It was okay. But it's not.
As horrible as Angelo is, he thinks about the consequences of his actions before he takes them. The Duke never thinks about the consequences of his actions.
No.
It's true. He does seem to bumble into everything. I mean, he's very naive and young in many ways.
And he says at the beginning that he wants these laws enforced. He just doesn't want to be the one to do it.
Yeah. There's a guy that is in middle management that runs a paper firm who's very similar. He just keeps, passing it on.
In Scranton, Pennsylvania, you mean? Or our version.
Well, we're off to the company pub. If you are a Patreon member, you'll have the link. If you are a member of the company, you have a link. So we'll head over there and things will get even more. Who knows what? I'll pass to Barnardine. What was it?
We got a surrogate Dhruv with the background. Well done, Monty.
How dare you? I was going pass the torch back. Give me the beers.
Hey, we're gonna enter a pub fighting. We're on the right path now. Well done. Well done. If you are currently a Patreon member, thank you, and we'll see you over there. If you're not and you want to be, you can do it right now. Get you right in. We're coming up at the end of the month, so it's a great time to join. We're heading towards our first paycheck as a company, and everyone's gonna get some. So it's a great time to hop on in. If not, we'll see you for everyone's favorite Shakespearean play, Troilus and Cressida, on Friday night. It's gonna be awesome, and we thank you all, and thanks to the cast for the time. Thank you for changing my mind about this play. I like it. So thank you all for the gift, and thanks for everything. So we'll catch you when we catch you. Let's go drink.
Yeah.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. In the pub, we'll all be